Unlimited capacity to yep on a mic.
Alright. Press record, flow naturally, I'm riding a bike.
Alright. Send a DM to someone I like, come on, be a guest.
Alright. If it's just Chang and Hoff, it's a yapping duet.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Chang Hoff Pod. Welcome to Season 2. It's glad to be back.
Season 2. Good to be here.
How you been, bud?
Pretty good. So we ended Season 1. We called it Season 1 because I took a little month of roaming around. Lived on various couches for about a month. And was just catching up with friends from school, seeing what everybody's up to. I spent a couple weeks in Chicago, a couple weeks in New York. And it was really nice just getting to catch up with people. Like some people I hadn't seen in years, people I hadn't seen in like 2-3 years. And yeah, it was a good time. It's cool to see like a bunch of people that at one point we were all kind of living the same life. We were like living in the same, I'm talking about going to college together, but like studying similar things, living in the same place. And then now seeing each year how everybody kind of makes their own choices and is like building their own life, like choosing a career, like finding stuff they want to do with their time, the people they want to spend their time with. And it's really cool to just see what everybody's up to. Yeah. And now I'm back here in Tampa, Florida, and we're back to weekly podcast episodes.
Yeah. So welcome back, everyone, and welcome back, AJ.
Thanks. Yeah.
Glad to have you.
How was it being Hoffless for a bit?
Hoffless, was difficult. All I did was, record one podcast with Jazzy. Thank you for
and Aaron
co-hosting. Yeah, and
Shout out Aaron.
Thank you for Aaron from Pilot Jones for coming on and speaking your truth and just giving us some good conversation. Really appreciate it. So yeah,
hey, Aaron, if you're listening, I might send you a message, but I want to do. Can we do a "How Deep Is Your Love" cover? Like, will you sing and I'll play piano? I think that'd be fun. Did you see that Instagram interaction between me and Aaron?
No.
That I posted a cover of "How Deep Is Your Love," and then Aaron commented, "No way! Look at my story," and I look at his story. And it was from like 5 minutes ago. He's singing the same song.
Yo.
It was like the same version, too, as the PJ Morton arrangement.
Wait, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy.
Happy coincidence.
But yeah, so I want to do, maybe we could do like a street piano.
That would be a good idea.
Cool.
That would be a good idea.
Yeah, I got to hit Aaron up.
Yeah. Thank you, Aaron. And thank you, Jasmine, for coming and being on the podcast. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And
I think Pilot Jones got picked for the thing to play in Brooklyn, right?
Did they?
Maybe. I think that I actually don't know that for sure.
Anyway.
Looks like they're. Oh, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway. What else?
Let's just get into it.
Oh, did you get to listen to the episode with Shoutout?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Okay. You can cut that out then. But yeah, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it.
I will let you know
it was a fun
when I finish it, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so let's get into it. You have some topics for me?
Well, I was going to say we just made a little song.
Oh, yeah, we did. Indeed. Right before the recording of this episode, we made a banger.
Made a little song. We've done that a couple times where we sit down, we meet up to record, and then I want to say it's because you're doing something else, and I'm waiting for you to finish doing something, and I just start making a beat. But also, like, even after you finish the thing you're doing, I'm still making a beat.
And then it turns into a song.
And then, yeah. And then I give you the microphone and you say some words.
Yeah. Usually something chicken nugget related at first.
Yeah, it always starts chicken nugget related.
Mm-hmm.
You got to start somewhere. But yeah, so that's 2 tracks now, potentially, for the Chang Hoff mixtape.
Yeah. Look out for the Chang Hoff mixtape. We'll be dropping snippets every now and then.
Oh, and then we can hit up guests and see if they want to be featured.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So future guests, future musical artist guests, if you want to be featured on the Chang Hoff mixtape, we'll be happy to have you.
They can be in the Chang Hoff multimedia universe.
Mm-hmm. The name of the song is Yap, for anyone who wants to know. I think you can kind of assume from there what it's kind of about. but I won't speak too much more about it.
Yeah.
You need to listen to it for yourself. It's a good one.
It's out on the streets. There's CDs going around.
Yes, there are.
Already.
Mm-hmm.
Right when I pressed export, they're bootlegging it already. So you got to get out there and find it. You got to ask around.
You do.
You got to find your Chang Hoff mixtape plug. Yeah.
So let's get into it.
We're in it, I feel like. But yeah, I've been thinking about that recently. Just making music. I think I like doing it. What I was thinking about is I haven't released that much. Oh, you know what started it is because I looked at my DistroKid account and I was looking at my unclaimed streaming revenue and I had $6, which like is not a lot of money, but it's like more than I expected to be there.
Yeah.
Because I put out just random things over the years, just like put a few songs out or like produce stuff for other people and it's under my DistroKid. And never really like properly promoted it, I feel like. Like I like posted stuff on social media, but not like what I would call a rollout or anything. So yeah, I was like, wow, if I did 10 times that, then I'd have $60.
Yeah.
And $60 can buy like multiple sandwiches. Like
yeah.
That's some money.
That's some pub subs right there.
Yeah, that's a few pub subs. So yeah, I was thinking about that. But I was like, yeah, maybe I'll just put out more music, and then if people like it, they'll listen to it. And then if they listen to it a lot, I can buy pub subs.
Yeah.
So
it's a win-win situation.
I'm making the songs anyway, so
yeah. People like the music, you like pub subs. It's as simple as that.
It's a win-win. It's a symbiotic relationship.
Shout out to Publix, by the way, for making some great ass subs.
Yeah, what do you get at Publix?
Usually I get the chicken tender sub.
Yeah.
With buffalo and toppings. I usually go for some lettuce and some banana, peppers, mayo, mustard, oil, vinegar.
That's a lot. That's fully loaded.
Indeed. But that's my favorite. I actually tried the other day a jerk turkey sub.
Publix jerk turkey?
Yes. Publix jerk turkey, and that was phenomenal.
Wow.
Very good. I highly recommend.
Might go get one of those after this.
Yeah. Sounds like a good idea.
Dang. But yeah. I've also been playing a lot of... I've just been very musical of late, I think.
You came back and, like, you said multiple times already that it's like, I just want to play keys. I want to play bass.
Yeah.
I want to make music.
Yeah.
And that's, like, what you're gravitating towards right now.
You know what it was? The first, like, actually the second day I was gone, I went to a jam session in Chicago called Chofi's Session. And it's like my favorite jam session ever. And I went up and played keys for a little bit. And it was cool. We played, I ended up playing that SWV Rain. That I was just playing earlier. And instantly everybody else was like into it. And we just started playing that and just jammed on that for like 5 minutes. But it was cool. Like met some cool musicians. Ran into a lot of people that I know just from going to those. And one of my friends after, I go back to our table and sit down. And he was like, man, AJ, I didn't know you played keys like that. Because normally when we play, I'm playing bass.
Yeah.
You know, just because bass is my strongest instrument. So usually I gravitate towards it.
Your bread and butter.
But I was like, yeah, like in my head, I'm like, yeah, that was fun. I like doing that. And then it was like pretty much a month of not having a keyboard. And just kind of like itching for it. Like this one day I was at my friend Ben's sitting on the couch just watching like YouTube piano exercise videos with no piano. Just watching like oh man, I wish I could
just putting it into your brainstem.
Yeah. Played some guitar, that was fun. Definitely more people have guitars, I feel like, than pianos.
Pianos are a bit cumbersome.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely once I got back, just been playing a lot. Playing some upright bass. Just trying to play. Because it's all connected. Like,
it's music.
Yeah.
Instruments,
like
music.
Time spent on one benefits all the others.
You know, recently about music that I kind of put together, it was multiple things, which I'll share right now. One of them is just watching Isaiah play guitar because he's cracked at the guitar, right? So watching him play guitar And then also there's this guy who popped up on my Instagram the other day, Zach McDonald, and he's a writer. He's an author. And right now, I've told you about this. He's writing a book.
Oh, yeah.
Called, man, I wish I could remember the name of it.
Keep talking about it. I'll look it up. It's called The Song of Hidden Stars.
Yes.
Oh, no, it is called, the full title is Riley Taylor and the Song of Hidden Stars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This guy popped up on my Instagram, Zach McDonald. He's an author. He's writing a young adult novel based in a magical world where the magic system is based off of music theory. And I thought that was a really sick concept. He's even producing songs that are going to be in the book with a QR code that you can scan, and you can listen to the music that they're playing as you read the book, which I thought is super unique. Never seen anything like that before. And I don't know, like that connection, and then seeing Isaiah play the guitar, I was like, dang, this kind of is like magic. Like you have a stick with strings, and you can produce beautiful noises with it. And I don't know, there was something really poetic about that to me that that is just like recently clicked in my brain.
Yeah, like noises that make people feel things and do things.
Yeah.
Like if you play something that makes somebody dance, you're making them do something.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Jasmine. We went out the other night for her birthday, and we went to go see Katara and Soft Cuff and the Alchemist.
Phenom. Not the Alchemist.
And Phenom, and they were all great. And she taught me a new word, limerence, which I've heard before, but I didn't know the definition of, because I posted something on my story saying, like, isn't it so weird that, like, all of these people living their own individual lives all decided to, like, gather in this place tonight to, like, listen to music? So I don't know, something about recently music has been becoming a little bit more magical to me in that sense, where I, like, kind of can't believe that it has the power to do what it does. And it really just is a stick with some strings, a piece of plastic with little keys.
Yeah, just like various ways of vibrating the air.
Yeah.
So what does limerence mean?
I think limerence is that feeling of like people coming together and living their own lives. I think that's
realizing that everyone has like a life of their own.
Yeah, let me look it up real quick.
State of overwhelming and unexpected longing for emotional reciprocation from another human. That's kind of sad.
Yeah, that sounds not as magical as I thought.
Typically includes intrusive melancholic thoughts. But yeah, I think like what's fresh in my memory last few days has been just like watching a lot of music related to YouTube content. So I have some of those if you want to go into that. I was telling you about the Andrew Huang, Rob Scallon project.
Yeah.
They have a band called October 1st, where every year on October 1st, they book a studio for the day and record 10 tracks. And I watched the most recent one. I've seen both of their content, but I've never seen this individual project. And it was interesting, just the process of having the constraint of, at a certain point, it just has to be done.
Yeah.
Because there's a time limit. Yeah. And then watching all of Kiefer's podcast. Kiefer just rebooted his podcast. And it's been just mostly interviewing keyboard players, but a few just pretty much just any musician that is kind of like in his circle that he collaborates with. Or I thought it was interesting. Recently he was talking about his new album he's working on, and that he was thinking about like, okay, compared to like other jazz pianists, like other producers, he was trying to think like, what's my advantage? And he was like, I think my advantage is just my contacts. And he was saying how he's just like hitting up as many people as possible, just have like a stacked feature list.
Yeah.
Thought that was
Networking is cool.
Yeah.
That's also another magical property that is
networking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is like revealing itself to me. It's like really about who you know, or like who you can reach out to.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I guess it is. I think it's magic because it's like we are already all connected to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think a lot of times when you talk to somebody, you have that breakthrough moment of like, oh, you know so and so, or like, oh, you're from there, I'm from there too. Like, there's all of these like little things that we share that you just gotta like talk to somebody and figure them out.
Yeah, we talked about this last week about or how I was saying that with all the new people and friends coming into my life, and just like how special it feels to have like a really good group of people. And like, shout out to everyone in the Mahjong club who, you know, comes out every week and plays Mahjong. It's like the highlight of my week.
Oh, yeah.
And Aaron, shout out to Aaron. Thanks, Aaron, at Bananas Records. They said that a similar thing, that it was like the highlight of their week. If there's anything that they can count on, it's Mahjong on Tuesday nights. And that just like brought so much joy to my life. And where this connects to like networking, like we were talking about, and like having conversations to, you know, figure people out. I was saying how like all these new people, right? I'm meeting them and we're, you know, hanging out and we're being friends. But really, when I think about it, I don't really know much about them yet because, you know, it's a lot of fresh people, a lot of new faces. And I would like to, you know, just like sit down and have a chat about them and just see what's up.
Yeah.
And because like every week having the podcast with you, I also really look forward to, because like, yeah, we talk throughout the week and we text and we chat on the phone, but like this is something completely different and like special, where we like sit down, no distractions, and just like have a conversation about whatever we're talking about, whatever we feel like discussing that day. And it has really opened my eyes to the wonders of just like active listening, conversation back and forth with someone. So yeah, who was it? Someone said, oh, it was Tim Ferriss. Tim Ferriss is a very popular business author and podcaster and businessman. He does a bunch of stuff. And he said that he has started to regularly do podcasts with friends where they'll sit down for an hour and like record a podcast that never sees the light of day. Like either they record it just like as a voice memo just to like keep it, or they just sit down and pretend to do a podcast and don't record it at all. But they sit down for like an hour, 30 minutes, and they sit down and have a podcast type conversation, like A and B. I'm asking you questions, you're responding. You're asking me questions, I'm responding. And I think that's a really cool idea, and I would like to do that with a lot more of my friends now. That's, you know, they're just like new people that I need to learn more about.
Yeah. I've noticed like an ongoing bit a lot of times if I'm hanging out with people, especially like you or Jasmine, every once in a while someone will ask a question and then just like hold their phone to the other person like it's a microphone.
And how does that make you feel?
Yeah, which is like a joke, but also it's a kind of a nice element to have in a conversation where like you can ask a pointed question to somebody and then like I kind of put them on the spot. Like that's usually meant in a bad way, like, oh, you're putting me on the spot, but just like giving someone your full attention and allowing them to answer something with however long it takes to. Yeah, I think just like long form conversation is nice. We talk about this all the time though. I have been thinking about making YouTube videos.
Yeah. Say more about that. What
do you mean? I mean, I think I've been watching a lot of YouTube content that's just kind of people talking. Or like just a person talking to the camera about something.
Just like super lo-fi stuff.
Yeah. Very bedroom level, low production. Yeah, and maybe like it would be researched on a subject, or maybe it would be, I don't know. I think what I've learned and enjoyed from this podcast is just using it as a way to just document where we're at a time. Me and Shaw were talking about that in the talk we had of like, as Shaw was talking about finding his grandma's cassette tapes, and just the songs that were on there, and like, we talked about this Kenny Beats project, Louie, where Kenny found a bunch of his dad's old tapes and it was like songs, but in between the songs he would record him speaking a transition and then give those tapes to people as gifts.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, he's making Citrasound episodes in 19 whatever. But yeah, I think cuz I think a lot of times when I think about making a video or making like a piece of content, especially if I'm thinking in terms of like Instagram or TikTok, I'm thinking about making something that a lot of people will watch. Which to some extent is valid because it's like if it's so personal or so specific or a thing that nobody really cares about, then like there's not much value in posting it. But also I think let's say like a 10-minute YouTube video about a topic, I think even if not that many people watch it, I think is valuable. Honestly, even if nobody watches it, it's just valuable for the creator to kind of crystallize their thoughts on something.
Yeah.
I think you make a video called Why I Make Videos Nobody Watches.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that video.
Thank you. Yeah, I made that video, and it was the idea was completely ripped from someone else that I watched, which in a similar fashion was like a bedroom video, just like recording on the phone with a little microphone. And I thought it was a great idea. I was like, same. Like, she said a lot of stuff that I resonated with because, I make videos that no one watches about my thoughts at that current moment to just like put out there, not because like I necessarily think anyone is going to watch it. I actually expect people not to watch it, but it's nice to be able to go back and see where I was at, and then also see people's reactions to those videos, because I think that when people do see them, they have reactions that I'm just like straight up not expecting.
What do you expect them to react, and then how do they normally react?
Well, I expect no one to watch.
Right.
So just someone watching in itself is already something unexpected for me. But like, for example, I think this is a really interesting, funny, and kind of wholesome tidbit. My last relationship that I was in, right, I had like posted a video about, it was me telling a time in my life that I like really regretted about a way that I spoke to a person that didn't deserve that. And so my last relationship, she saw that video before we started dating, and she told me that was like a big reason of why she like gave me a chance, was because she saw that video and like liked how I thought and spoke. And
interesting.
Yeah, how open and honest I was is what I think she said.
Yeah.
In that video.
Yeah, you do get open and honest on that channel. You had the video reading my journal.
That's just like who I am.
Yeah.
Like on the internet, off the internet, like I just am an open book. If you ask me, like I will tell you, because I think there was a long time, not to get too deep, but there was a long time where I felt like I wasn't fully transparent all the time to save how I thought someone would think about me. And it just like was so unnecessary and difficult, like trying to remember like what I told someone, what I didn't tell someone, this and that, whatever. And so it's not like I start every conversation with like, here's my deepest, darkest secret. It's not even like that. It's more like if you ask me a question, I'm going to answer honestly about like what was going on. Anyway, so
yeah, I think being open about your thoughts and feelings is like many other things that are uncomfortable and scary, in that there's like a nice feeling on the other side.
Yeah. And I don't go back and watch those videos very often, but when I do, I think it's funny, one, to see like where I was. It's also, two, kind of cringy sometimes to see them. But I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I think that's a sign of growth, where it's like I'm different from the person who made that video and different than the person who thought of that video. And things have changed. So now things can be a little bit cringy sometimes, but that's okay.
Yeah, I think if you were looking back at a video you made 2 years ago and you were like completely aligned with that person, then like what have you been doing the last 2 years?
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah, and so it's fun just to have it there, just because. So yeah, that was like a time where someone reacted to the video, and yeah, it was like a reaction that I was not expecting, and so it's cool. And I think we kind of also fall into this where, now people see our stuff and react in a certain way where they say, like, I cannot believe that people watch our stuff, like watch our podcast, and then also like it.
Mm.
And it's not like I think our podcast is bad or anything, but just I never expected for us to, like, kind of have supporters.
Yeah.
Because, like, again, I don't expect anyone to see this stuff.
I don't know what I expected, to be honest.
Yeah. But we've made a lot of cool friends, a lot of cool connections, had a lot of good conversation, and made some really good content just like having this podcast. And I think that's really cool. And also, we've been doing Changhoff, of course, with big breaks in between, for a long time. Like, I think we might be at like 10 years since the very first Changhoff episode. Because if we did that freshman year was 2014.
Yeah.
So we're on a decade now of the Changhoff brand, if you can believe it.
I feel like when you put it like that, it sounds so bad because we've been going at it for 10 years and have not much to show for it.
Yeah, that's why I stated the caveat that with a big break in between.
Yeah.
Because there was definitely like 8 years between.
See, our oldest video was 9 years ago.
So yeah, we're right about there.
Let's see. How do you see what day it came out?
You have to go to the description and click open it.
May 19th, 2015.
Mm.
Wait, so that means May 19th?
It's 10-year anniversary.
It's 10 years? Let me throw that in the GCal.
Yeah, that's a good one to have. 10 years of Changhoff. We should make like a montage of our stuff.
Did I say May 19th?
Yeah.
Oh, it's in my calendar. It says Changhoff Day. Oh, I shared it with you. It's
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, I shared
Perfect. Perfect.
That's funny. Yeah, because one year I remember we made a birthday video for some anniversary.
That birthday video was a banger.
Yeah.
One of our finest works.
But anyway, that was those days. These are these days. But you know what I might do before next episode? Make a YouTube video.
Yeah. What would it be about?
Probably the next thing I upload will just be a full version of like I did a couple covers recently that I just posted a clip of on Instagram just because it limits you. But like I did the whole song. I just cut it down to 90 so it fits in a reel. But I figure I might as well post those on YouTube, you know. Somebody will see it and think, "Oh, this is cool." I know for me, like, honestly, probably most of my musical development has just come from watching people on YouTube. Like some amount, especially in the earlier years, kind of had to come from either taking lessons or going to school. But, you know, nowadays, just watching YouTube videos. Yeah, so probably just a full version of a cover I've done recently. But yeah, maybe like a talk to the camera. Maybe I'll make a video and just talk about Tampa SoCal. Just recap like the last 6 months.
Yeah. That would be cool.
Yeah.
What lessons you've learned from running Tampa SoCal.
Yeah.
I would watch that video.
Yeah.
I would like to know what goes on behind the scenes.
I would like to like get into the process.
The nitty-gritty.
The nitty-gritty. He's wittily getting into the nitty-gritty. Yeah, just talk through where it's been and where it's at and stuff we maybe want to do and like what's holding us back.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Okay, maybe that's the next one.
Yeah. You have ideas, just make them all.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Maybe I'll make one. I kind of want to do it this week so that we can talk about it next week.
Do it then. I support it 100%. You know I'm a sucker for a good YouTube video.
Yeah. I also like the idea that making a video about, it could be about anything, honestly. It's a good way to just catch up with somebody. Like sometimes I'm talking to a friend and we're just texting, catching up about what they've been up to. And I'm like, I really wish they just had a YouTube video on their channel. Like, I kind of wish you vlogged or like.
So then you can watch it in 2x speed.
No, I'm not a double speeder. I'm a 1x. I'm a 1x watcher. But yeah, or if somebody's talking about like a project they did or like an art piece they did, or I'm like, I want the behind the scenes. But I mean, obviously that's hard for people to do, and I think a lot of times documenting something can take away from the experience of just doing it. But I kind of want to do that in case any of my friends feel similarly, where they can kind of see. Because I think people kind of get an idea. This is speaking on conversations I have personally. Like, people have an idea of what I'm doing just from Instagram, but that's like such a slice that it's not really.
Yeah. Instagram is not representative of real life.
No, not at all. Like I think most people think I went to college for music. Nobody believes me when I tell them I didn't. 'Cause like,
you didn't?
all through college, my social media is just like me posting
Music.
So they're like, oh, cool, AJ's doing good in music school. And then I have to be like, no, I was in engineering. But yeah.
Speaking of, like, when you said like you wish that your friends just like had a YouTube video that you could watch.
Yeah.
Recently, what I've been doing, right? I just hit my 1 year anniversary of journaling. So I journaled every single day in my app on my phone for 1 year. And it's now I get to like see the journal posts from like a year ago.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting to see like where I was, because I can tell when I was good because I would write a lot, and I can tell when I was bad because I would write nothing. And
what do you mean bad? Like bad at journaling, or in a bad
just like
headspace?
Yeah, maybe not in a bad headspace, but yeah, let me just put it like that for simplicity. In a bad headspace because I would write nothing. Like, the reason why I journal in an app over like pen and paper is because I like to put pictures in my journals. So I can remember a day a lot easier when I can see pictures from that day. And so I can tell when I was like in a bad headspace because I would like just post a picture and like not really write anything about what was going on that day.
Yeah.
But recently I decided that I was going to start doing video journals. And so for the past like 10 days now, at the end of the day, I'll just like speak onto the camera, like on a video, and just talk about my day.
You do this in the Day One app?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the Day One app. And it limits me to 5 minutes, which I think is a good constraint because like I will talk for 45 minutes about my day if I can. So yeah, I think that's been really cool. So I'm excited for the next year to come around so I can like watch them back again and be like, what was happening during those days? And I can just literally watch myself speak to me about what was happening during that day. I think it's really.
Do you ever address yourself in a year?
That's how I.
That's
speak.
how you do it?
Yeah. Like
you're like talking to yourself.
I'm speaking to myself in the future because I know I'm going to watch it in the future.
That's really cool.
So like I'll be like, remember this, Jacob. Remember when you're watching this in the future, how this made you feel, because we don't want a repeat of that type stuff.
And then after 2 years, then it'll be like you'll see 1 year ago and 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, journaling is cool, and I like journaling on electronically. I am worried though, like if Day One ever goes down,
yeah, it's all gone.
It's gone.
I listened to an interview one time with Penn or Teller. I'm not sure which. It was the taller one.
I don't know which one.
But they did a long interview, and I'm gonna say Penn. They're like an extensive journaler. Like they'll journal at the end of the day, they'll journal every single interaction they have, every person they talk to, what they talked about. And they have a process where when they start their day, they'll look at 1 year ago. I think they do like 5 years ago, 1 year ago, and a month ago. And every day they start looking at like those three, and then they move on.
Interesting.
And I thought it's insane to be able to have done it long enough that you can glimpse at your 5 year ago self, your year ago self,
Yeah.
and literally see like everything you did that day.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I could ever. I don't know if I could ever do that. I could definitely journal more than I am now.
I hope
But-
so. I hope that you can,
Yeah.
because it's good to have some sort of proof of your existence.
Well, we got the Changhoff podcast. Proof of our existence.
Yeah, it just reminds me how you were saying earlier that like Kenny Beats found his dad's old tapes and like I like the fact that maybe in the future like my children or my grandchildren will find like videos of me on the internet, or
They'll find your day one account.
yeah, and they can just look at my journals.
True, they could just watch your YouTube channel.
Yeah, and they can just like go through my stuff, because at that point I'll probably be old or dead. So like I don't care. Go through my journals, like read about what the fuck was going on in my life and all the terrible and amazing shit that I went through.
Yeah.
Like go for it. You'll learn a lot probably, hopefully. And I think I get the same thing from it. It's like just writing something down or like speaking it out loud really like helps crystallize how I feel about something. And especially recently, I don't know, like it's weird to say, but I really have felt this year like my brain stopped developing. You know what I mean? Like,
You think so?
yes.
They say that. They say like 24, 25,
Yeah.
your prefrontal cortex is
Is
just about done.
yeah, it's fully cooked.
Mhm.
And I don't know, like there just like there wasn't a particular moment or day or time that like it happened, but just how I have been able to move through life recently this past year, like that's my only explanation. It's like I feel like my prefrontal cortex is now fully cooked and like I feel like an adult.
Mm. What? Say more on that.
What I mean is I feel like I have grown and I've changed and matured a lot, especially this year. Like, of course, over the past few years, I have felt that. But especially in this year, I felt like I have grown and a lot.
Yep.
And just the way that I handle stuff and react to things and learn from my mistakes. Like, I feel like I used to have a bad tendency of not learning from my mistakes and making the same mistakes over and over and over again. Like, and now this year I feel like I can make a mistake and I can like mentally put it down and be like, we're not going to do this again. And then I don't. And it's weird.
I think that could be. It could be that. It could be that you have a good routine of reflecting every day with your journal.
Could be. That's definitely a part of it for sure.
Yeah.
I attribute that to journaling. But yeah, I don't know. Just like it's just like a feeling. I can't explain what it feels like or what exactly it is, but just like this feeling of maturity and responsibility that I feel like I have for my life now that is different before, when I just felt like I was very impulsive. Jake Paul, Logan Paul.
Guess who's coming on the podcast next week?
That was a little teaser.
Hey, I saw Jake Paul and Mike Tyson are fighting. Is that real?
I think so, but I think it got canceled or something. I'm not sure. I don't keep up with them.
I just saw a video of Mike Tyson like shoving Jake Paul, just two hands on his chest, pushing him,
Man, they're
and
really
just smiling at him.
they're really rolling out that fight
And
if it does happen.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get too invested in the.
Mike Tyson makes some really good weed.
Yeah. Oh, I've had his gummies actually.
Yeah.
It's like it looks like an ear with a bite mark on
Mm-hmm.
it from the.
Great. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's the best edible gummy I've ever seen in my entire life. An
Yep.
ear with a bite out of it, like
Yep.
so on brand. But yeah, the rest of his weed is really good. I have a jar, an empty jar of it over there that I kept from when I was living in California. It was called the Toad.
The Toad.
Yeah.
Oh, because he has quite the collection of Bufo alvarius toads.
The ones that you lick and you get
The
high
ones
off of?
that secrete.
Psilocybin?
Yeah. No, not psilocybin. It's DMT.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's 5-MeO DMT.
Don't know what that means.
I think that's just that's a very strong.
Potent one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's called the Toad.
Yeah. Oh.
And it was great. It was really good.
Okay.
It's like it was very strong weed. Like
Mm.
32% THC.
oh.
Yeah. It was crazy. And then he also has
I'm more of a 0.32% kind of guy.
he also has like blunts, Mike Tyson blunts that are terpene infused. So if you smoke the blunt, the Mike Tyson blunt with the Mike Tyson weed, it's like double strong.
Wow. And then you're in the ecosystem. It's like Apple products.
Yes. Yes, the Mike Tyson ecosystem.
You need the Mike Tyson lighter.
We're gonna get
You need the Mike Tyson.
we're gonna get age restricted for this.
Just cut it all out. And that's why I've never do drugs.
Yeah, that's all legal stuff from in the state of California. So,
It is legal in the state of California.
how do you feel about this conversation so far, bud? Has it been a good one?
It's been all right. Yeah, I think we talk to each other pretty frequently. So there's not a lot to. Also, before we started this podcast, we were hanging out for like 4 hours.
Yeah, we
Cooking
made a whole
up.
we made a whole song.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we'll try and get a guest next week and the weeks after.
We do have some guests lined up
Yeah.
on the schedule,
Yep.
so we're looking forward to that. It's gonna be a great time. I love the guest episodes.
Yeah.
I do.
Cuz I mean, we talk. These people that are listening, these people that are watching, they know what we're up to.
Yeah,
I think
we talk to them.
we talk to them. If we don't talk to you, then you probably don't talk to us. So talk to us. I don't know. Leave a comment.
Yeah, leave a comment saying that you watched the podcast. We really enjoy the comments. We really do.
Even the hate comments.
Even the hate comments. I love the hate
yeah,
comments.
even if you just want to.
We've only had one, but that was a good one.
Well, it depends on who you ask.
What was the other one?
I don't know.
I'm asking you. Who was it? Tell me.
I don't know. I was just trying to make a joke, but I guess it wasn't that funny. I think we could do season 2 all the way till the 10th Annie. Throw a little Chang off 10th Annie party.
Chang Hoff party. Chang Hoff party.
Maybe.
A 10th anniversary party would be really fun. I would
Yeah.
like that. I honestly also...
It's funny for people that don't get the whole backstory of the vlog because they'll
Yeah.
be like, "Damn, they've done a lot of podcasts."
Yeah, I think that this year, for this season and beyond,
Yeah.
we are really focusing on just like upping the quality, getting more people, more guests on, and also just doing other stuff because we have fun making music and like we joke about it, haha, like whatever, but like we already do it, so we might as well just do stuff. We were having a conversation just the other day of I asked you in the car when we were driving over somewhere that do you think that we are doing too much stuff?
Yeah.
And we both agreed yes, that we are
I
doing
don't-
a lot of stuff. But I said
I
that-
didn't say yes, by the way.
yeah, you did.
I said.
I said, are we doing too much? And you said yes.
Okay. Maybe
I
said yes.
remember because we were going on a little loop skis. So
Yeah.
anyway, so not to shut you down, but But basically, I said that I rationalize it in my head by saying, like, it all kind of feeds into each other because it's all content. And maybe content, I don't even feel is the correct word for it, but it's all, like, pieces. You know, like, we're just making all sorts of stuff. And I think that's really cool. And we're just creatives, and we like creating things. So as long as we're continuing to create things, and like really actually kind of like take it seriously to like put it out, work on it, and share it, then I think we're doing a good job.
Yeah, I think my answer was, I feel like I haven't been spending enough time working on long-term projects. Because like something like this podcast, I just consider, like we're documenting a conversation, and the amount of time it takes to make is just more or less the length of the conversation, like plus editing, plus a few little things, like uploading it and posting it. But yeah, because like when I find myself meeting somebody and talking to them about what kind of stuff I've been making, I would prefer to have something really high quality distilled that I've spent a long time on to show to them, versus being like, oh yeah, we've made 22 podcast episodes. Because like, what do you do with 22 hours of? They're not gonna go listen to them all. And maybe I can pick one that they might be interested in, but I think that compared to spending a lot of time working on really refining something and distilling it to its essence is super valuable.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think that we will begin to work on longer term projects, as well as, you know, maintaining our podcast and all the other things that we do that aren't as long term as projects that we want to do, that we know are something that we need to spend a long time on to get it right. And I think having that mix is really fun and exciting, to just like constantly be working on something and constantly putting something out.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, especially from the reactions and the feedback that we get from people, and they might be biased because they are our friends, but I still think it's valid that like we have something real special here, and we're doing cool stuff, and I like that, and I think it, and I believe it, and I know it to be true, that we have a really cool thing going on here, and I love making stuff. And so the more that we make, our body of work is going to get bigger, and through that
Catalog.
Yes, the discography.
This podgraphy.
And I know that through that, the distillation, like the essence that is very important, will come to light, if that makes sense.
I think a lot of the value in this too is the development aspect, where so let's say, you know, the last month we've spent, I don't know, 20 hours recording podcasts. And like we could have spent 20 hours making a film. I think we could have made a short film in 20 hours. But like every time we do this and we get a little bit of new conversational skills, a little bit of new comfort, speaking publicly, a little bit of feedback, it's like we're just getting a little better, to the point where like 10 years from now, I think we'll just have we'll be so developed in those skills that just sitting down and talking for an hour, or interviewing someone, or, you know what I mean? Like the development and the refinement that comes with that. That was a bad example though, because honestly, if we made a film every month, we would develop a lot of skills from that.
Yeah, we would.
Low-key more than just talking.
Yeah, so look forward to the all the other things that we're gonna make, because we're gonna dabble it in all. You know, like if we can make it, because realistic, and we've said this to each other before, like we have the tools to make a lot of shit.
Dude, hear me out. I'm actually gonna completely disagree with my prior point.
You said something and then you
Yeah,
okay,
I said I like in the process of making the
more on
argument, I was like, hold on.
speak more on that.
Because what I think what I started to say was that the time put into the podcast is worth it because of the development and the skills that come out of it. But I think the important aspect is doing something that's challenging ourselves, either like conversationally or creatively, or. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't feel super challenged right now. You know, maybe we should. I think we got to switch it up.
Maybe.
I think maybe we've been lifting the same weight for a little too long.
Are the podcast? What do you think is the main muscle that we've been training with the podcast up until this point?
That's a good question. I think it's like a lot of tiny skills. I think one thing I am still developing, but that I've made strides on, is you're listening to somebody talk, right? I'm listening to you talk, and you say something, and a thought pops into my head of like, oh, that reminds me of. And the inclination is to jump in and say that. But by saying that, I'm derailing you from the track that you're on. You know, especially if you're in a story or like a longer form argument that you kind of know where you're going. So I think having the thought come up and just putting it away and just continuing to listen. And then once the other person gets to their end of their point, maybe that thing is relevant, maybe there's a new thing. But I think just staying, which really that's mindfulness, I guess. Just staying present in the conversation instead of the thoughts that come into your head. That's one, I think. And then maybe this is the same thing, but like once somebody reaches the end of a thought, or once we close a chapter or close a topic, what's next? You know, maybe that's a segue, maybe that's a question. I feel like at some point we could try to learn to be funny. Are we funny? I don't think we're that funny, honestly. No. I think we're pretty dull.
Well, I think we probably laugh on average 3 times a podcast.
I think we like laugh, but then start recording the podcast and then it gets serious.
Yeah, there's a bit of seriousness to the podcast, especially when I speak. I feel like I make everything so intense. Maybe I should get better at being less intense.
I think that's a muscle we're not working.
Funny?
Yep.
We should hit some improv lessons.
Yo, will you come? Okay. Just next pod, just bring a joke.
That's good. That's good. I like that. I like that.
We'll start small. Okay, we're starting with 5 pounds.
I have to say, going back to the last thought of like what is the biggest muscle that I feel like I've been training with the podcast.
Yeah.
And for me, it's an important one.
Yeah.
But definitely, I think you're right that I've been lifting the same weight for too long. It's consistently putting something out.
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like, actually, I know for a fact that is one of the main things that creators struggle with is putting stuff out consistently. And I feel very comfortable with the podcast that it's going to come out every week.
Yeah.
Like it's almost a fact that it's going to come out every week on Wednesday, no matter what.
Yep.
And that's good. But now I think we can kind of up it a little bit. Or me personally. I feel like I can up my own content creation.
Yeah, I was going to say my feeling on that is like just seeing something go every week through the full cycle of set up the audio, set up the video, press record, edit, upload, post, make a little graphic. Like just going through that cycle once a week and feeling comfortable with it. Now I feel like if I want to do anything outside of this podcast, I'm already familiar with the whole, like just being comfortable with that cycle.
Yeah.
And just learning the little things about normalizing the audio or how to mix things, or, you know, because I think if you put too much pressure on, oh, this is like my first video, or this is my first song, or you're like spending a year trying to perfect something, that pressure can keep you from ever releasing it.
Yeah.
You know,
You're polishing tinfoil
you're polishing tinfoil. Whoa.
instead of a diamond.
Yeah.
You got to give yourself time to let that diamond crystallize before you start polishing it. You can't just polish tinfoil.
Spending too much time polishing tinfoil.
I think that's a great place to stop.
Oh, I'm having a good time, honestly.
I'm having a good time too.
We have gone for an hour.
And you have somewhere to be. So
yeah, true. Okay, so next podcast, we bring a joke.
maybe a poem.
Ooh. You want to bring a joke or a poem?
I'll bring a joke.
Should I bring a joke or a poem?
Do whatever you want to do. I'm bringing a joke.
Maybe I'll bring... I don't know. Oh, I got a joke for you today.
All right. Go for it.
Did you know... Did you know Taylor Swift was named after Albert Einstein? Wait, hold on. You can't interrupt me. They got to hear it. Did you know Taylor Swift was named after Albert Einstein? 110 years after. I saw that in a Vsauce video. That's not an original.
And this was the Chang Hoff pod. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate everyone who comes and watches the videos and listens to the podcast every week. Everything we do and everything we make from this podcast comes directly from your support, and we couldn't do it without you. And I love what I do, and I am so glad that I have the opportunity to do it and say that. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you for being the trellis that holds our vine, for being the pole that holds our light, for being the foundation that we live upon. See you next week.